up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Hannah B, and today is August I'm lost on my date. What today's date is? Hold on, guys. Let me see. Today is the 6th. Today is August the 6th. That's crazy. I can't keep up with dates. That's crazy, right? Anyway, today is August the 6th. It's a Thursday, and I just got back from Savannah. I had a round trip this morning. I still have the boxes back there, not the one on this side, one on this side, and I got one in the trunk that I got to take back to the office. But on my way back from Savannah, I got a call to pick up from the pharmacy, and that'll be the one on this side to go to Georgetown. So that's where I'm headed at now. Anyway, I know you guys have not seen me make a video in a minute. I have been like extremely busy. I mean, I've been busy the last couple of weeks, and I just be in the groove, and I don't be thinking about making, any videos. But the reason why I'm making this video today is because of a friend of mine. I used to always see him at this warehouse I used to go to when I used to pick up for this freight company that I used to use back in the day. He used to work in the warehouse, drive the forklift, that type of stuff like that. And he recently reached out to me and told me that he bought a Sprinter van, that he quit his job and he bought a Sprinter van. And I'm not hating on anybody, not trying to throw salt on anybody, but I wish that he kind of could have called me first before he decided to do that, because to be honest with you, I would have talked him out of it. So today's video is should you get a Sprinter van / cargo van or not, and my personal opinion, and from the things that I've been through, and the way things are going now with the economy and a lot of these companies. I would say not. I would say don't do it. Don't mess with it. So anyway, he went and he got it. I don't know what he got. I think he got a Transit. It's nothing new. I think it's something used as far as I can see. And I don't even know if he paid for it cash, if he's still making payments. I don't know. But he did reach out to me and he wanted to know, like, how could he get started? And I'm like, dude, like, you should have been doing your research before you decide to jump into this van. Because as of right now, he's talking about getting into gig work. And so basically I gave him all the companies that I know in our area that, is useful in our area. Because, from the time that I started, I signed up with every gig app out there. And the majority of them is not in our area. For some reason, South Carolina is not really hitting as far as logistics, gig work, freight. It's just really, it ain't hitting like that. It really is not. North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, that surrounds us, I mean, it's really pumping, but just seems like South Carolina don't really get a lot of work. But anyway, I told him the gig app to sign up for, and so he ended up hitting me back up maybe about a week or two later, and he was like, well, yeah, I signed up for this one, I signed up for that one, but I'm on a waiting list. Or a couple of them he just signed up for, he didn't pass the background check. And a few of them he signed up for, tickets. He had traffic tickets. So it only was a handful that he did get accepted to, and one which is Curry. He got accepted to Curry. I think he said he was on the waiting list with Bungie and Dispatch and all those other ones. But anyway, he did say he got accepted to Curry. And I was trying to explain to him that in our market, Charleston, South Carolina, Curry has gotten away from Sprinter vans. And I know this personally because when I did have my Sprinter van, and a lot of the warehouses that I would go to, they told me that Curry was getting away from cargo vans, Sprinter vans, and they were going towards pickup trucks, minivans, and cars. So And not a lot of orders come out for cargo vans now since they made that transition. And matter of fact, one of the contracts that I had that I used to use my cargo van for, he basically told me the same thing, that they were going more towards pickup trucks. So, you know, so he's really not getting any work. And so I also told him, I said, well, sign up for TaskRabbit. I mean, you can do moves, you can do junk removal, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do. As far as TaskRabbit, you can set your own hourly rate, you know, everything like that. But you don't want to do that type of stuff. You don't want to touch the freight. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Like, dude, you just starting out. You quit your job, you come in and got a van, and it's like, you would kind of want to do anything just to get your foot in the door, just to kind of get some money, because, you know, like I said, I don't know if he's paying for his van, but he does have insurance. And I asked him, I said, well, how much insurance do you have? He didn't even know that. He said his wife set it up. His wife did it. So you don't know if you got 100,000. You don't know if you got just a state required. Like, you don't even know what you have. Like, you know, I don't understand some people that just want to get into this because, you know, they watch these YouTube videos or they talk to other people and they think that it's just that easy just to jump into this and you're going to make $2,000-$3,000 a week. And it's not that easy. It really is not that easy at all. It isn't. And anyway, so I told him, I said, well, I got a couple of carrier companies you can sign up with, but you got to have $300,000 for one of them, $100,000. The cargo insurance got to be $100,000. And it's another, so I said, it's two more that I used to run with, but you got to have $1 million insurance with them. So if I was you and you really want to work and you don't want to touch freight, I would try to jump up to the $300,000 and give this guy a call that I used to run with, and go ahead and start working with him. It's not going to be local. It's going to be more regional. You know what I mean? I know you don't want to do over the road, but it'll be more regional. You know, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. You might have to do a little bit of Tennessee. You might have to touch the bottom part of Virginia or maybe a little bit of Kentucky. But he'll put you to work. So he was like, well, you don't have the money. You don't have the money to do it. You know, and like I tried to explain to him, I was like, well, you know, I learned that when you go and try to get into this type of business, you need to have at least $10,000, $15,000 saved up in the bank. You need to have 6 months of bills saved in the bank, because it may take you up to 6 months to really get your business off the ground, or really get started in whatever you're trying to do, and you have to go into your bank account to pay your bills. I had $5,000 saved up, guys, $5,000, and I ran through that in 3 months. 3 months I ran through that money, because it took me like 4 or 5 months to really get out there and really start making money, really start making some connections and stuff like that. So it took me a while, and within that time, I got in debt. I mean, I was in debt. I was using my credit cards to pay for gas. So I just maxed out all my credit cards. You know what I mean? So gotta have money saved up, guys. You gotta have $15,000 saved up in the bank, just in case you have to fall back on it. Another thing that I've been noticing, because I'm always on the road. I'm always on the road. And I don't know if you guys been paying attention to this, but have you been seeing a lot of cargo sprinter vans on the road lately? I know I haven't. I have not. When I first started out, that was all on the road. Cargo vans, sprinter vans, box trucks. That was it. Now you see more of them at the dealerships. You see these dealerships line up with cargo and sprinter vans. You know why? Nobody wants them anymore. Nobody is using them anymore. They're not. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys pay attention to that stuff, you know, when you're on the highways and stuff. But I am really not seeing any cargo vans / sprinter vans on the road. I'm really seeing more dualies. I'm seeing a lot of people are getting out of the vans and getting dualies and hauling cars, hauling the trailers, because you can use a dually to get a trailer and you can do the same thing an 18-wheeler does. Only thing is, you don't have to pay the high ass insurance, and certain DOT regulations you don't have to follow. You know what I mean? And I see a lot of people are starting to get box trucks and getting out of the vans. So last week he ended up calling me again. No, I'm be honest with you. I've been saying to him, like when I because I do a lot of research, guys. I continue to do research. I probably always will do research because I have to always keep another door open. I have to always keep opportunities coming in. And even though, my contracts, they keep me fairly busy, but sometimes they do have downtime. Sometimes I may have one run I did from them and maybe that's it. So I have to always have something else going on to where I can be able to pick up the phone or I can shoot a text and be like, I'm available if you need me. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? So that I can be able to make what I need to make on a daily basis. But so when I do research and I see that it's for a Sprinter van or a cargo van, I send it to him. I mean, even on Indeed, I'll shoot it over him. I go on CB Driver, I go on a lot of these platforms, and I'll send it over to him. And then he reached back last week and was like, yeah, I applied to those stuff, but they have not reached back out to me yet. So what should you do when you apply for any job? It don't have to be this type of business. It can be any job. It can be a restaurant job. It can be a Walmart job, a gas station job. What should you do once you put in the application? What should you do? Should you call them? Should you send them an email? Sometimes you might have to harass them because these people have so much going on. Sometimes they don't have time to check emails, or they may not have time to constantly remember your name or remember what y'all even talked about. So if you shoot them call them or shoot them an email a couple of times, then they'll know that you're serious about it, and maybe they'll call you or maybe they'll send you an email back. But you just don't apply for anything and just feel like, oh well, they didn't reach back out. You have to bug people sometimes, and that's what I told him. You gotta bug people, dude. And then he was like, well, Curry isn't really hitting. I said, well, if you had called me before you got in this van, I could have told you that. You could have really just got a minivan. You could have just got a minivan or a Transit Connect, and you could have still worked with Curry, but you wouldn't have that high insurance. You wouldn't have to go out and spend all that money for this van that you got. You could have got something. You could have got a Transit Connect for less than 10 grand. Or you could have got a used minivan for around 10 grand. You know what I mean? And still make the same amount of money, but now you got less overhead, less gas. Your insurance would be cheaper. Your payments would be cheaper. Because I could have told you in our area, in our market, what companies are good. And as of right now in our market, none of the gig apps are good in our market now. Roadie is trash. Curry, trash. I mean literally trash. Dispatch, GoShare, Freight, Bungie. All of them are trash now. All of them. They're total trash. You know what I mean? So the only reason why I really wanted to make this video today is to kind of talk to the people that are thinking about getting into this business with a cargo/Sprinter van. I can't speak for your market. I don't know your market. Only thing I'm telling you guys to do is, if you're thinking about getting into it, do your research first. Apply for these gig apps. If you want to start out with gig apps, go ahead and apply for them. That way, at least you won't be on the waiting list so long. You know what I mean? Because to be honest with you, a lot of the apps that I signed up for, I'm still on the waiting list almost 3 years later. Never got accepted, and it's been almost 3 years later that I've been in business and still has not gotten accepted yet. Really. So if I was just depending on that, I would be screwed. If I was just depending on the gig apps that I did have, I would be screwed because the pay really is not worth it. And that's one of the reasons why I got rid of my van. I got rid of my van, and I'm in old girl right here that only takes me $30 to $40 to fill up, and I can drive dang on 400 miles on a full tank of gas. You know what I mean? So I learned a lesson, and he's gonna have to learn his lesson. You know, he's gonna have to figure things out for himself. He might have to find out things on his own. He might end up having to go back to work. And another question I did ask him, I said, well, the company, he worked for White Glove. That's the name of it. It's White Glove. He worked for White Glove. Why didn't you try to, even though I understand that you quit or whatever the case may be, but why did you try to talk to somebody in the management position that books the load to, you know, let them know that you have a van and see if they can use you as a driver? And I'm guessing because he quit, he didn't want to do that. But I mean, sometimes you got to save face. You know what I mean? You got to take your tail and tuck it between your legs and go talk to people. You know, you got to go talk to people sometimes. So he said he was going to try Amazon Flex. I can't get on Amazon Flex. My niece and her friend, they do Amazon Flex in the mornings. They have a regular job, but they do that early. I know they have to get up like 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. And they do that before they actually go to work. But I know it's a lot of packages. And if he don't want to touch anything, I don't think he would want to do Amazon Flex. But sometimes you got to humble yourself. You know what I mean? When I first started out, listen, if I didn't even care what it was that needed to be delivered, I was delivering it. No lie. If it needed to be delivered, I was delivering it. I wasn't being picky. I wasn't being choosy. And I'm not being picky or choosy right now. I mean, I done delivered dead bodies several times, even though I was scared as crap driving with it in the back of my car. And in this car too now, because, you know, it's in a box. But I've done that several times. I didn't say, well, I can't do that. You know, I'm going to be scared and that kind of crap. Listen, if it has to be moved, I'm moving it. Sometimes you got to humble yourself until you can get into a position to where you can start turning down certain things, or you can say that you don't want to do certain things. You know what I mean? But as of right now, you know, you can't sit around and just wait on curry, because that's the only thing that he said that he got right now. Yesterday I was at the airport and I saw a friend of mine. He works for Zoom Logistics. You guys, if you're looking for any driving position, you got your own van. Even if you don't have your own van, they have box trucks there that you can drive. It's called Zoom. It's in Charleston. Anyway, I saw a friend of mine. He drives a 26-foot box truck for them. And I remember one time he called me to see if I wanted to come over there and drive for them. I went and talked to the guy, but he wasn't really talking what I really wanted to hear, to be honest with you, money-wise. Per mile, he wasn't really talking, so I didn't pursue it. But anyway, so I ended up asking them, I said, you guys still looking for drivers, or, you know, people that already have their own vans? He said, yeah, you know. So I told him about the guy. He told me to give him his number. So I texted him yesterday and I said, hey, give so-and-so a call. He said that the company he worked for, you know, they're looking for drivers with their own van or without their van. Give him a call. So I don't know if he did or not. But, you know, and then he kept asking me, well, what companies do you work for? What companies do you work for? I don't work for a company. I don't work for a company. I have my own business. I'm an independent contractor. I have contracts. I don't work for anybody. I don't get up in the morning and go clock in, and then when I get done, I clock out. I get phone calls. I get texts. I can say yeah. I can say no, that I don't want to do something. So I don't work for anybody. But anyway, I would never, and I mean, I know you guys probably say, oh, you gatekeeping? Yes, I'm gatekeeping, and I probably always will gatekeep. And the reason why I say that is because when I first started out, I knew people in the same career space that would not give me any information, would not help me at all. Even when it came to get my TSA certificate, would not help me at all. And I've always been a helping person. I've always reached back and helped people. I've always gave people information and tried to help them, whatever situation it was. But in return, I just never got that back from people. So when I started, trying to do this, nobody wanted to give me no information, none. Everything I learned on my own. Every contract I have or did have, I got on my own. Every opportunity that I have or had, I got on my own. Well, I ain't gonna say that. The man up above helped me. The man up above helped me. The man up above guided me, and still guided me to this day. But nobody else can say that they gave me any information or they helped me out. My mouthpiece got me my TSA certificate just by talking to somebody. By talking to somebody, and they said, "Oh, I can help you." It probably wouldn't take that long. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, nobody will never know the companies that I contract with. Never, ever know. Because, for one thing, I hold myself, my business to a certain standard. You're not going to play with me and pay me $1 a mile or less than $1 a mile. I only move this car for a certain number. And that's it. So if I bring somebody else in, they're hungry. You understand? They're greedy. Their bills are behind. They'll take less than $1. And then next thing you know, I don't have no work. Because now they're going to have all the work because they're going to take whatever is given. Whatever they shoot out there, they're going to take it. They ain't going to fight. They ain't not going to fight for $1.30, $1.40, $1.50. They ain't going to fight for that. See, I'm going to fight for that. And see, I know that the contracts that I have, they don't have a lot of stat couriers. They don't have a lot of on-demand couriers. You understand? They have me, they have my business partner, and they got 2 other little old ladies that ain't going to drive us so far. They'll drive South Carolina, but they ain't going but so far. They may go an hour and a half away, maybe 2 hours away, maybe, if that. But they ain't going further than that. And see, I'm going to drive. My business partner, she's going to drive. You understand? So, I know that we're needed. We're needed. So if I say, no, I can't do that for $1.20, I need $1.30, they're going to give me that. Because they can't call nobody else. And how I know that, I tried them. I've tested it. I tried it. And what they did, they turned around and said, call back. And was like, okay, well, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, you ain't got no choice. You ain't got nobody else. You ain't got nobody else that's going to run up to Charlotte. They're going to run up to Raleigh. That's going to run to Atlanta. That's going to run to Jacksonville. They're not going to run all over the place. They're not going to run up to Wilmington. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to do 2 and 3 stops for you, pickups and 3 stops for you. They're not going to do that. But they know I'll do it. They know I'll do it. And they know I'm going to be early. They know I'm going to drop off before time. You understand what I'm saying? If they call and say, hey, can you pick up such and such and bring it such and such or whatever? Yeah. How much? How much you paying? They know I'm going to do it. One Friday, I'm not going to lie. You would have sworn I was a yo-yo. I mean, I went to Beaufort 4 times in one day. I mean, before I even got back, can you do a pickup and go back to Beaufort? Yep. Drop it off before I got back again. Can you pick up such and such place and take it back to Beaufort? Yeah. So I did Beaufort 4 times in one freaking day. 4 times in one day. That was the best Friday I've had since I've been in this business. The highest earning Friday, because normally my Fridays is low iffy. It's up in the air. It's iffy. But that was the best Friday I had since I've been in this business. Best Friday. I almost made $1,000 in one freaking day. I made like $800. Because each one of those runs was $200. I made $800 in one day in this car. Yeah, I had to, I don't ever let my car go past a half a tank. So, once I get to half a tank, I had to put gas in it. So, yeah, I had to keep those $20 here, $20 there. You know what I mean? But compared to $800, that little $40, $60 was nothing. So, yeah, I will always get keep. They don't need to ask me. what company I work for, because I don't work for a company. But don't ask me what company I contract with. Don't ask me anything, because you're not going to get an answer. I get asked that all the time. When I'm at the different airports, they're like, oh, what company do you work for? And I'm like, I don't work for a company. And that's it. I don't say nothing else. And they just be looking at me like, I don't work for a company, I work for myself. And I just keep it moving. Because I'm not ever going to throw salt in anything that I have going on. And with the economy the way it is, and with people, and I'm going to say this, with these DoorDash, Uber drivers, don't know the rates, coming to these different markets like Curry, like Dispatch, like GoShare, like Freight, like Bungie, and they come over and they grab anything like they would do on DoorDash and on Uber or Grubhub, and they come over to that side and they do the same thing and they screw up the market for everybody else. Now the rates going down to crap, and now you wonder why. Because you guys don't know the market. You guys don't know the rate. You guys have not been out here putting in the work and doing the research to know that you don't take anything under $1 a mile. And depending on where you're going at, you don't take anything for less than $2 a mile. It kind of depends. Right now, when I do Walmart Spark, I ain't taking nothing less than $2 or more a mile. I don't even care where it's going. I don't care if it's going 5 miles. You're not gonna pay me $5 to go 5 miles. You're not, and I ain't even gonna take $10 for 5 miles on Spark. I'm not. You gotta pay me at least $15, $20 to do a Spark order that's going 5 miles. I'm just being honest with you. I'll decline all day long, because for me, Spark is just extra money. I do Spark for extra money. It's not, I'm not full-time out there like everybody else, so I can actually cherry pick all day long. Oh, you say, you know what, I ain't going home. I'm wasting my time with this crap, and I'll go home, because I do it for extra money. The extra money that I'm doing it for is to pay off my credit cards, which right now I only have 2. No, I lied. I have 1 credit card. I paid off all my credit cards. I have 1 credit card now. Now, I just opened up a high yield savings account, and hopefully September I'm going to open up a Roth IRA, and I'm going to start putting my money in that. I'm going to put like $100 a month, and then in January I'm going to bump it up to about $300-400 a month. And to that Roth IRA, I'm going to bump up my high yield savings account, and I'll be straight. The only thing I have is household bills. So really, you know, to be honest with you, you know, it took me almost 3 years to get to this point. Almost 3 years to get to this point. Yep. But I'm here. So I'm just gonna say for you guys, man, really pay attention to what's going on around you. I've been on this road right here right now for like an hour. I have not seen the Sprinter or cargo van pass me by yet, in either direction, going or coming. Pass by at all today. I just came, like I said, from Savannah. I have not seen one unless it was a company truck. You know what I mean? Because companies, they use those vans. So this was a company truck. I have not seen one today. People are getting out of those vans, and you got people that's watching YouTube that's getting into them because of what they're seeing, not knowing that half of the time these content creators be lying. They be lying. I've been watching these content creators for almost 3 years now, and the majority of them that's been in cargo vans now are out of them. They're not even making videos anymore. You know why? They had to get out of the van. And they couldn't resort to doing anything else, so they may have went back to work. I don't know. But if you're going to get anything, get a minivan. Get a minivan, or get a dually, or get a box truck. I'd rather jump into a box truck before I jump into a Sprinter van. I mean, a box truck, you make $5-6 a mile in a box truck. And really, if you live in Florida, local is anywhere in Florida. You don't even have to come out of Florida for local or regional. You don't have to come out of Florida, because Florida is so big, it really is considered regional. Anyway, that's it for this video. I was not trying to talk this long, but yeah, that's it for this video, guys. We should be in Georgetown the next maybe 30 minutes, I think. And then I gotta go take these other boxes back to the office. And I gotta get my paycheck from today and yesterday. Like 2 runs today, and then I had 1 run yesterday. Yesterday was an early day because my son went back to school, and I didn't want to be out late. I wanted to be home with him early, see how his day went, cook dinner, make sure he took his bath, you know, get in bed at a reasonable time. So I just did that 1 run yesterday, and I was home. I think I was home like 3 o'clock yesterday, so that was it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching the channel. I thank you guys for all your support. Make sure you subscribe and like and share the channel. I don't know when I'm going to be putting out another video. Like I said, my mind really don't be on it. Sometimes it's like I just keep moving, and I don't really be thinking about it. But today, I decided to talk about it because I really feel for this guy. I think he should have really done some research. I think he should have, basically, before he even inboxed me, he should have probably called me and asked me, should I do it? And I would have told him no. Stay on your job, get a minivan, start out part-time until, you know, you can get accepted on more gig apps, and then you can figure out what you want to do from there. But he didn't. So, I mean, he's either gonna learn one way or he's gonna learn the other. I don't know. I hope the best for him, and I wish him a lot of luck. I wish him success. You just never know what God has in store for anybody. So, you know, maybe God's gonna put something in his lap, and hopefully, maybe he can get with that company I told him about yesterday, and they can put him to work. You know what I mean? Maybe he can start getting some work out with them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I hope so. But anyway, that's it for the channel. That's it for it, man. That's it for the video. It's raining, and I'm gonna try to get up here and get back. See you guys next time. It's your girl Hannah B. Peace out.